Sitting here, just waiting for the last one to load. I went and watched some CFL highlights and the big guy roll on Bo Levi's leg. And when I saw it and the way it bent, you're like, oh shit, yeah, I did more. That's broken, So he's out for a good long time. That may, he's an older guy. That may do it, And so you like watching and go, shit, it's tackle football. And they should coach people, how to properly tackle so you don't hurt yourself or others, And I watch it, and it's a lot of hit. I got to talk to the linebacker at New Mexico State, play containment, play the ball. Tackle, wrap up. Don't come in with intent to hit and to separate the ball from the person with a hit. Come in, punch at the ball, make a play on the ball, okay? I've noticed a lot of times where they make a play on the player instead of the ball, and if you'd go up for like a rebound, you could tip the ball or get a turnover instead of trying to hurt the guy. And sometimes they completely whiff, and then they end up hitting each other, and it's just very poor psychological and biological conditioning and coaching. It's terrible. And you would think, this is the 21st century, and we're more civilized than ever before, according to people mass murdering each other in Russia and the Ukraine and the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. Yeah. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to have artificial intelligence and people talking about the supreme intelligence of artificial intelligence. And it makes no sense whatsoever that we're engaging in just even more disgusting warfare than we've ever done before because of drones. And you're just like sitting there going, God, it's pathetic. It's disgusting. I see why the line of King David in Western civilization and in my interactive of families and tribalism and stuff is the standard of male behavior and was made into a god by the Roman Empire. I understand it completely. I know exactly why the molecular similitude of myself as a god and why the president and the Nobel Prize winners and the CEOs and all the top physicists at all the, Chicago, University of Chicago and NYU are not the standard of human male behavior and understanding and wisdom through humility. I completely and thoroughly understand. Because of all this dysfunction and mass murder with technology, I get while I'm here anonymously, LY, in a military cesspool of pathetic individuals. But it doesn't make sense intellectually. But it does make sense if you're surrounded by a bunch of jealous brain chemical turdbags. So, it makes sense. It makes sense if you understand reality and you understand this has happened thousands of years in all our stories. That when they poisoned Siddhartha, when they Vishnu and they tried, and what the Chinese did with Sun Yat-sen, what they crystallized and did with Confucius, and then mystalized and turned into bullshit with Tao, and and just the same thing what they did. They take the writings of Ditiro Suzuki and turn them into magical folklores, and they tell them that, oh, you're going to leave all this stuff, but we're going to use it to make people docile and magical and stupid. And it's like, you're not going to make them docile, magical, and stupid by taking my writings and make them look like you. You already did that because they're like you. What Hi, how Japanese of you. Thanks for understanding. Gosh, I love Totoro Suzuki so much. Oh, he's so cool. He's more cool than Ted Neely trying to be Jesus for Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm telling you, this is shit. Damn! Stuttering. In a prison, this bully attacked Master Wong Ho-Do, and he was the Shaolin Pojo, or the Habandodo of the Mountain Sholos. And here's what happened. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps me more than you'll ever know. Stephen Strange of your Cumberbuck. Isn't that the guy who played the Grinch? Guys, I have to tell you, I did like Carrie better, but the best of all time has got to be Boris Karloff, right? You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. I know that's not Boris Karloff singing the songs. That's another dude. I saw him. He did others. Given a choice between the two of you, I'll take the seasick crocodile. You're mean. Boris Karloff by far was the best Grinch ever. Okay. Jim Carrey did a good job for Ronnie Howard. Yeah, he did a good job. It's funny, right? But by far the best Grinch of all time has got to be Boris Karloff. All those damn Boris Karloff movies. It wasn't a movie. It was a cartoon. You really are a heel. That was the best one. Yeah, the 30-minute one with this little Cindy Lou Who. Yeah. That was the best one ever. Yeah, that one was cute. And the little, she got the little blue eyes, she's so sweet, she reminds you like a little Emily, she's so sweet, she's so cute. It's a cartoon. I know it's a cartoon, but it's based off the cuteness. Of the little cuteness that the little patooter tooter toots. She did it, oh daddy, it's so easy to fall down. Daddy, you're a liar, Santa found us, you know. The cuteness of the cuteness of the Christmas tree cuteness of the Christmas tree cuteness. And you know, they're little doggies and puppies and cats and dogs and you're so cute, oh you're so cute. Ah, I know, I the one person, the most professional assassins, okay, in the history of the world, are fucking terrified of and never want to see the light of day. And this is him with his girlies on Christmas Day. It's a girly girl, it's so cute, I never do hey, bitchy pleasy, you're my bitchy pleasy boo. Cause it's your daughter. And you're like King David. Okay, guys, I remember who was it? Was it Amy or I can't remember. You know, because Amy, you know, around the house, when she first got with me, she, you know, had this Thuggish Ruggish Bone thing to me that I had when I was on the phone, you know, thanks for calling herself as journalist, you know. And so she wanted me to be Thuggish Ruggish Bone all the time. It's like, well, because that's how mom knows. Yeah, but mom also knows I'm a dork when I'm off the phone. Because mom works with me, right? That's like, okay, out of the mouths of babes. Guys, I have to work with these people. He's the Dr. Dre black guy on the phone, but when he gets off the phone, so what up, dog? Yeah, it's funny, right? And so she's like, Mom knows you. Yeah, but I have to be on my best P's and Q's, especially around Peter. You know, he's a Episcopalian priest and the Master Chief of the Sea Wolf. You know, so you got to come in. Hey, sir, how about them? How about those Cardinals? Go Diamondbacks. Thanks for your support of Kevin Johnson and the Suns. Yeah, we're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe or the Tesla being able to perform better than the what was the name of that? The Mopar. I'll never forget that. He never admitted it or apologized. You know, he told me, Earl, that's just liberal conspiracy bullshit about the whole thing about Tesla and the Tucker and no. They will never be able to get a electric car ever to perform anywhere close to what's necessary for what people need combustible engines for. Right? And I said, no, I'm sure they just, no, I'm not, it's tangible. Right? And because he was the same thing to me with John Draper's auntie, who built a house in Prescott and she got and made her own solar panels and put the solar panels on the house. And John told me that. He goes, she produces so much energy. Okay, they have to buy it back off the grid thing because it was old laws. It was back in the 90s and stuff. And he's telling me about it. Yeah, you know, in Arizona, my aunt lives up there in Prescott. And he said she made her money off of her retirement to pay for her stuff and keep herself off of producing energy through maintaining her solar panels and then providing that solar energy back to the grid. He said, oh, no, that's all bullshit. He's just making that up. So I was like, no, okay. She was not allowed to produce and market it and sell it and get rich off of it. But it's like the military, don't ask, don't tell. But my thing is, I never thought about it. Just, John, could you give me your auntie's address and let me go talk to her? I'm one of John's Air Force buddies. You know, I never thought about it. I just was like, oh, that's interesting. That's neat. And if I'd done that, yeah, I know. If I came out and I always wanted to, I didn't want to do it in Phoenix. I wanted to get up to Oak Creek Canyon and Flagstaff. And every time I tried, they wouldn't let me. They always, back to Phoenix. I don't want to go back to the carbon emission cesspool. I don't want to be the white shadow of South Mountain. I could coach and help the kids at Coconino or at Flagstaff High School just as good. And I think I would enjoy, and my black wife would enjoy living in Flagstaff, because I was told by the black people there that played sports at the games when I went there with my brown girls, and Jant and Amy and all that, oh, they're good to us here. Y'all looking to settle here? That's a good idea. They good to us here. So I was like, good, that's nice to know. When a black man, we run into black men and they tell you, you know, they good to us here. So we can come here and live? Yep. Gentle boy, tender girl, their hearts were, and their hearts were full of spring, right? And I never could get to Flagstaff. I wanted to go to Flagstaff so many times, and I could never arrange it. And then me and Amy wanted to do the same thing in the meadows in New Mexico, and we couldn't get there. And we went with the Mexican family, saying, yeah, it's cliquey and they're shitty, and yes, because it's a college town, and they're going to be like that. But if, you know, and I tried to get there, and they Steffi with the stupidity and all, she was annoying, and they're like, it wasn't Steffi's fault. No, she was being head fucked by the military. And, you know, there are very few people in the history of the world. There are very few people in the history of the world that are humble enough to be a perfect vassal for eternal faithful player, that don't know who do you think you're fooling. I got the presidential seal. I'm standing on the presidential fucking podium here. I got busy with super divas in the Lincoln bedroom, goddammit. Okay, do you understand? That don't let their ego get the best of them. Yeah. Festivus for the rest of us. You know it, bitch. And so there are very few people in the history of the world that can be tempted with the talents to rule hell and say, fuck that. I don't want to forsake the glory of heaven by living the truth of the freedom of truth, you know. There are very few people that have that opportunity presented them, because, you know, your father who sees in private will reward you openly, right? And so there are very few people in the world. There's 1% of the population throughout time. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, like Moses explained to Pharaoh. Okay. And they get all mad. You mean to tell me that you're saying to me, Ramesses the Great, yes, the planet destroyer and river valley destroyer, building monuments and turning people into slaves and having 5,000 people killed to serve that bitch of a wife of yours in the clouds that doesn't exist except for using my imagination. Yeah, Willy Wonka, your Oompa Loompa fucking land. Okay, so you sit there, you could, yeah. Well, past, present, future operate at the same time. Humble and faithful people are just naturally more intelligent than selfish people that think they can invent their own universe out of Sheldonopolis and the Dogopus, because you can play fetch with an 8-handed creature. No one could like, everyone could not like that. It's like, that's fucking just creepy and crazy. Knock it off. It's hard enough to deal with dogs, much less you make them into a Dogopus. Dogs can be really hard to handle. Yes, they can attack children and maul them to death. They can do it with your sister in her own backyard. Yeah. Okay. How'd you like an octopus that could hold on to her and then shoot and not let her get away and just, you know, devour her, because now you'll never make my sister upset again. I mean, my owner upset again, or my whatever. You know. Well, when you take a puppy in as a baby and you care for it, you're mom. All right. And if things upset mom and you put mom at risk and you upset mom, and you make her nervous, or, you know, and the nervousness would be, I need a place to stay, and I don't want to stay where I was, and I need the dog around to help me feel safe, and I feel like I'm intruding and like I'm making things hard on them, and the dog's not making it easier because I can't control the dog, because I'm a nervous person, and the dog wants to protect me from people that get agitated by me, so the dog attacks. So there goes a hockey player. Right? It's the goddamn fucking Hanson brothers here. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Slap shot. You understand? Okay. So it's goddamn. You know, I watched the Seals or a million other with Dog Whisperer and stuff, and you have to sit there and go, well, life's eternal and grace is infinite. Would you like me to explain the biological, psychological conditioning of the psychology of the perception of the neuroscientist who has their head still firmly entrenched up their ass because they can't pull their head out of their ass long enough to submit to faith in the glory of the soul? Okay, thank you. You're welcome. All right. How very Japanese of us, and Chinese. Thanks for noticing. Okorimasu. Aye. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Moto. Thanks, Charlie Chan. Sun Yat-sen and Ditiro Suzuki, our two prayer buddies. Well, they knew there was a lot of literature to be read and stuff like that, and like Haile Selassie and Jiddu Krishnamurti, they just okay. So it's not going to happen with us, but we're going to do our best to make sure that things are set up really well for this kid in New Mexico, born in the Valley of Shadow Death, where they threaten to blow up everybody with nuclear weapons, and then use the Wi-Fi at Fort Huachuca to head fuck everybody in the head to get them to believe in comic books and debate comic books instead of live the truth of the faith of the truth of our glory of creation and to have faith in that beauty and the natural laws provided for holy covenants. So, are you following this? Am I speaking too fast for all you people that have your head firmly entrenched up your ass and are trying to get a scholarship to an Ivy League school? At a feeder school, are you at the magnet school for the University of Chicago there? Yeah, what a maroon. Is there any difference between lavender and maroon? No. There's absolutely no difference between University of Chicago and New York University. No. All dumb as a box of rocks. Yes. And they're supposed to be more elite universities than the Ivy League and Stanford. I did not know that. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I thought NYU was just like, didn't have sports because it was like, I thought they were both like Chicago State. Yeah, University of Chicago and NYU. That's when that guy told me about, I'm the head of the psychology department at University of Chicago. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's charming. Just like Chicago State. Is University of Chicago an HBCU? No. It's a historically RRCU. What's that? Historically Richie Rich something, collectible university. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. I'm just being obnoxious. You know me. I just flow as I go and go as I flow. Oh, damn. I think I'm on a Progressive commercial. Okay. Flow. Get it? Never mind. Okay. Jamie, it doesn't work that way. But let's make crank calls to each other. Shit. Wow. I love you guys very much. All of you, even you assholes that I don't like or trust here in close proximity to me, wouldn't stand up for the Lord's Prayer if your pet's life depended on it. Why you say pets? Because they act like animals. So that's, I think, their best relationships are with their animals. Okay. Because they don't give a shit about their spouse or their child or their spouse and their adopted children because they're married to same-sex people and they're giving equal rights to advertising. You're obnoxious. Yes, well, yes, I am. Guys, the nice thing about living the applied physics of the freedom of the Lord's Prayer is you don't have to have advertising that makes other people uncomfortable, like they're not included in the stupidity of the advertising. Or why do they have to include these people in the stupidity of our advertising that makes them feel like they have a purpose in advertising, and they don't? Well, because they're homosexuals, and everybody knows advertising is made for people that are not homosexuals and made by people that are not homosexuals. Okay, what makes you think that? Okay. So are you sure about that? Okay, because, William Longshanks' kid, that movie by Mel Gibson, Braveheart, Lightning Boy's coming out. It is true. A lot of the royal family of England is homosexual. Okay? And a lot of the people in the Middle East that call themselves Muslims are homosexual. Boyd Vaughn, they all wanted to have sex with Americans. They thought we were all bisexual in both ways. And you're like looking at the guys and like I got on Facebook on Messenger. That really attractive kid called me from a bath and said, we'll start masturbating together. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I hit the, get the hell, I don't want to see your genitalia, no. Even if it was a girl, I'd sit there and say, no, I'd rather not. Because they judge and they compare. And I'm the most beautiful, loving man in the history of the world. My circulation is not what it should be, so I'm not as healthy and don't have as pleasing of erection as I did back in 2017 and 13. But thanks for offering, and I'm very flattered, but no, I'd rather not. Well, because I don't want all the dick measuring contest pig fucking raping murderers at White Sands and Fort Huachuca to feel like they're a better man than me because they have better circulation to their genitalia, and when they were in the womb picking out what they needed to have a beautiful life, to be like David, Jesus, or John, that they picked penis instead of cranium that can think for the dick, right? Hey, what can I say there? It's funny. I think it's freaking hilarious myself. Yeah. This is more funny than Dave Allen? Oh, well, yeah. And I'm not an atheist. Not at all. Being an atheist is complete gibberish and magical thinking that science can save you from eternal stupidity. And that's just bullshit, okay? Just because somebody takes faith, and it says in Genesis, it's very clear. So you're like going, okay, but it says here in Genesis that your God is an omnipotent, omnipotent essence of all existence. Okay. And then when the Romans killed Jesus for teaching that, Jesus is then turned by the Roman society of these pig raping, invent your own laws, and idolatry, and kill each other for idolatry by inventing your own laws and ratifying it on a piece of paper. He turns into Zeus, the god of the sky people that are batshit crazy. So none of you saw that? Okay. Well, my capacity to understand reading comprehension skills is obviously at all-time low because I've declared myself an atheist. And you couldn't solve a crime if you were a Puerto Rican named Trent locked in a Puerto Rican all-night bisexual club. Yeah. With disco music and techno. And nobody listens to techno. Moby, you don't know me. I don't care. But disco, there are a lot of good disco songs still to dance to today. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Girl, I've known you very well, seen you growing every day. I never really looked before, but now you take my breath away, right? I really love Tavares, right? I know it's the Bee Gees, but they wrote it first. The first people to sing it was Tavares, okay, because they like Tavares so much. I just got to know where I stand. Oh, here's a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me. You know, John Sebastian got his start as a musician for Tavares. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. But he didn't sing with them. But if you go listen to Tavares sing, you listen to John Sebastian sing, you're like, well, you got to understand. These guys, they got a family thing going on here. They got good voices, and they do sing better than you. But you're a good musician, and that's a good song. We know what a scene you was learning in. Was there something that made you come back again? And who without that lead you? Who without that lead you back here where we need you? Yeah, we tease them a lot because we got them on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Right, so early bird from Las Cruces, New Mexico. Yeah, right where the Bible said I'd be born. And it said where I'd clean up this hell. Yeah, I thought I was going to do it in Sierra Vista because I thought Sierra Vista was the focal point because the Wi-Fi. But it's not true. No, Dave Allen and all the people in Sierra Vista. Okay, the Catholics that have been praying for thousands of years to stop all this mass murder and abuse from all these heathens that lie on their father Jesus and turn him into a war god when he tells them that God is the source of the sun, Winne Yahoo, and all that stuff. Yeah. And the cradle of New Mexico and the mountains and yeah. No, Arizona was at that time more sparsely populated because who the fuck in their right mind would want to live in Yuma or Phoenix when you could live in Santa Fe or Albuquerque or Las Cruces or El Paso? The weather's a lot nicer. It's not as frightful. It's 100 degrees in Phoenix before the invention of refrigerated air conditioning. Okay, in Phoenix, yeah, that's a new phenomenon. Okay, before that, people didn't live long in Phoenix. They get up and let's go to Prescott and up to and then you had the Navajo say, hey, don't get up too close here. Don't fuck with our shit. You don't want to fuck with the Navajo. So it was very sparsely populated in Arizona as opposed to New Mexico. New Mexico had a better climate and a better conducive place for people to gather and live than Arizona. Arizona's, damming up the rivers and hunt. Jesus walked on water, but hunt ran on water. Right? So, crazy ass motherfuckers. They don't be thinking too good there eternally. Dip, dap, diddly do. All they see is the shit in their front of their face and say, this is great stuff right here. destroying the ecosystem and building a big, gigantic, genocidal cesspool right in the middle of a desert that has an average of 111 days a year over 100 degrees there. Dip-dop-diddly-doo! Dip-dop-diddly-doo! Let's build a bunch of freeways, make it Riverside, and the Riverside and all them other places, right in the middle of hell on earth, right? We'll call it Phoenix. Up from the ashes grow the roses of success. Yeah, you crazy ass chitty bang bang motherfuckers. Okay, I'm gonna load this one up because I don't want to wait too long for it to load. Love you very much. If you're a complete asshole, still love you. Just don't like trust you. If you're a good person watching these anonymously because you're being abused by assholes too, keep the faith. Okay, you don't need no space presence. You don't need aftershave. Okay, you just need to wash your brain from the cesspool of idolatry and voting for idolatry and the insanity of trying to invent laws on paper and ratify it by a bunch of dumbasses agreeing to it. All right, thank you very much. Truth of creation. Hallelujah, brother. Faith is gorgeous. All right, peace.